Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 52 of the Wheels to Walking podcast, the podcast with a guy in a wheelchair and a guy not in a wheelchair.
What up? Featuring special guest, the pimple on my forehead. This giant bastard right here.
Well, luckily you're facing the other way, so I don't even know if in most of the shots it'll pick it up.
Unlike yours from the other week, that was straight up.
Mine from the other week was gawking, but I've also got one this morning that's a little bit of a.
You got in the middle.
I don't know if this is offensive, but I feel like I'm from a different culture.
You got the little Indian
dot. An Indian dot in the middle of my forehead. What is? I don't want to go there. I was gonna say I never really knew what that meant. Is it that you're married? If you have the little dot on your forehead? I think it's a religious thing.
I
think maybe. I don't know. Someone in the comments that knows more. I'm not going to go more down that rabbit hole because I don't want to get canceled.
We have banned ourselves from talking about things we don't know anything about, okay?
Even though on this episode, I'm sure we'll talk about some things that we don't know about.
Yo, shout out to the Texas boys and Bucky's because I'm rocking my Bucky's shirt today.
Bucky boys.
Brent finally released the Cripple Couch episode. We're going to have that linked in the description. It's a good one, guys. Like, you get to hear some stories about how Zach got beat up by 6 cops. You get to hear about how he was like banging some older chick and her 20-year-old son caught him and like almost beat him up.
Dude,
this guy's stories are insane, dude.
When we ended that podcast, I literally thought I was like, did I just have a fever dream? Like, was I having a stroke?
Is this real?
Like,
yeah.
Are these things that he's saying actually real? And they are. And he Pitbull Rule is like one of just the craziest people. Like, just you're like, how is he a real person? How does he exist in this world that I also inhabit? Like, he is just such a different entity, and I love him.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that like he gets frustrated about is people are always like, man, why are you always acting so hard? Why are you acting so tough? And it's like, he's not
playing a character.
I am a character, but I am not playing a character. Like I am just me, and I was doing this before social media. Yo, he told us literally, and if you guys listen to the podcast, you'll hear this. His very first post got him 14,000 followers. Very first post.
Yeah, I mean, when you're that unique and that like badass and just that interesting, I feel like he can go viral doing anything almost at this point. Like anything. That was one
of the things he was even talking about. He's like, "What can I do to go viral?" And his manager was like, "Oh, do that," and then he did it,
and then he went viral.
Could you imagine how being like that unique that you could just be?
It's a blessing and a curse, bro.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse. Because there's a lot of things where, like, he could have ended up a totally different way. I mean, he could have totally ended up like a Ricky Berwick kind of dude that's all, like, scrawny and just, like,
creepy.
Feels bad for himself and weird. But instead, he's, like, a hard-ass, badass motherfucker who's benching twice the amount of my max PR.
And multiple times his own body weight.
Oh, multiple. How much do you think he weighs? With no legs. Didn't he tell us? He's like 160 or something like that?
I think he was saying like 130, 140.
Oh, okay,
maybe not. Because like if he had legs,
either way,
he'd be
no
like
legs.
6 foot something. He's a literal geo dude.
Yeah.
A literal, actual, physical geo dude. Yo, speaking of geo dudes, did we talk about Pokemon cards last time?
We did, but I have, that's a really good segue into what I was going to actually talk about.
Okay, oh yeah, you have cards at your house that you found, didn't you?
I do.
Anything good?
So for people, here, let me write. Sorry, guys. Again, I've got to write down some timestamps, so I'm just gonna write down quickly the time that we're talking about this. It's about 3:50.
If it wasn't annoying for the audio listeners, we could have that clapper that we could just like clap every time.
You know what's funny is on this mixer, there's a marker button that adds a marker into the audio, but the thing is it's not labeled, so you still got to like go through and figure it out, and like it's.
Oh, be like, what were we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, last week we were talking about how Logan Paul has kind of like had a resurgence on YouTube, at least for like the normies, it feels like, of Pokemon cards and Pokemon card collecting. And last week we were talking about the like big live stream that he had, but then also this week he uploaded another video where he talked about how he got that PSA 10 Charizard. Did you watch that?
Yeah, he bought a Charizard for $150,000.
$150,000 for a perfect mint condition first edition Charizard. And it got my gears turning because I'm like, oh, I've got some Pokemon cards at home. And I knew I had some holographic cards. I knew I had some first edition cards, but I wasn't exactly sure what I had. But I knew they'd been played with. Like, I knew that they weren't in mint condition or anything. But I was just curious because I was like, I want to go home and check this out.
Yeah,
and
I remember when I was collecting them, I had the the binder that had like 9 slots in each binder, and you could like flip them open, flip them closed.
I did have those, but then at a certain point, I was working at this camp, and like all the kids at the camp were playing with Pokemon cards.
Yeah, so you just like broke them
and
out.
So I like busted them out, and I was like, I'm gonna start playing with these because I'm like, I might as well. I mean, it's kind of like a car, you know?
That's the point of them. It's like you got to use them. And I remember like when I started collecting, I think I was already too late for the first editions. Like, I think the first editions had already come and went. Like, I remember.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was like in '99, I think, when they like actually came out, and I don't know how long they printed "quote unquote" first editions, but it was
Not
like
long.
only like a year.
I mean, not even that. And
I think it was. I mean, because you'd be surprised, like, because there's so many millions of people that collect them, and then there's also so many millions of cards that have been destroyed. Like,
True.
There's only so many PSA 10s, but that means that's because there's only that many mint condition ones. There's plenty of people that have like holographic Charizards, but they're like shitty and beaten up, and they're not worth much.
Yeah, worth like $100.
Yeah, maybe, or whatever. But anyways.
Yes. So you went and found your collection.
Yeah, so I found my collection, and the thing about the first edition cards is like you don't necessarily have to buy those cards. Like, I have first edition cards, but I was 6 when those first edition cards came out. So like,
You got them in a trade.
I got them in a trade, and like my cousins played with them. So my cousins were older, so like my cousins had a lot of cards. I have a bunch of German cards for some reason. I've got a bunch of German cards. I've got a couple of Japanese cards. I mean, mostly English cards, obviously. But it's kind of interesting. I have like some German cards.
Were you able to research into them and see?
So I haven't done
like
tons of research yet, but as I was sifting through, so I'll tell you the full story. So I was on Saturday, I was going over to Nicole's up in Buford. So I was like, I'm gonna stop over at my parents' house. I'm gonna go do early voting because my permanent address is still like listed as my parents' house.
How long did it take you?
20 minutes. Not bad.
Oh, not bad. Okay.
Not bad. Yeah, because I stopped over at your house before. That was a full day.
Yeah.
By the way, crazy day.
I've had a couple of those days that week where I started at like 8:30 and didn't arrive back home at like 9:30. And I'm like, holy shit, I've been going nonstop all day. And then I sat down and actually did some of my computer work. I'm like, oh shit, I got more to do. Fuck.
Yep. So I go over to my parents' house, and I got my Pokemon cards, and I was looking through, and I do have a holographic what was the one? It wasn't was it Clefairy? The one Chansey, yeah, I had a holographic Chansey.
That's like the 4th best card.
It's the 4th best card, but I didn't have a first edition. So I haven't really looked into too much of what it's worth, but it wasn't a plastic sleeve, so I wasn't just playing with it naked. So like, it is in good condition, but it's not a first edition. And then I also had a holographic Arceus, which isn't a first generation Pokemon. It's like a 4th maybe, but I looked it up. It's probably worth about like $40, and it's in pretty good condition. And I had some other pretty good holographic cards, but honestly, they're in rough shape. I do have a decent amount of Pikachus. I have some Squirtles. I've got some, like, I have some decent cards that are probably worth something. I'm probably going to hang on to them just to see, but
when you played Pokemon, did you actually battle? Like, did you?
I never played the real game.
Me neither. I only collected. You know how I played? I collected and traded. I never actually used like the energy cards.
I don't know how to play the real game.
The trainer. No, me neither. And I think that's one thing that separates Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I think people that played Yu-Gi-Oh! Played the actual card game. They actually battled with the cards.
Yes.
I think people that played Pokemon collected the cards but played the game. They played the video game.
Because the video game is so different than the card game. And Yu-Gi-Oh! The show, here's the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! The show. So in Yu-Gi-Oh! The show, they're collecting the cards. Like, remember, he has that like thing on his arm that has all the cards in it.
So
the cards are part of the show, and in the show, they're playing the card game.
The Pokemon TV show was not like that at all.
You're collecting the Pokemon in your Pokeballs.
The Pokemon show was more like the Pokemon video game.
Exactly.
And the card game was like
secondary.
Yeah.
It's similar. Like, I have seen people play it. Like, you know, you do attacks and you do certain things, but like,
it's like Magic the
and
Gathering.
You use
almost.
a trainer card, like you use like super potions to like heal your Pokemon and shit. But like, the thing is the way that I used to play it was basically, you know, the game of war, like in
yeah, you just go 1, 2, 3, flip, and whoever had the most powerful,
the highest HP would win the
That's the lamest
flip.
way to play it.
So lame, but that's all I knew how to play it.
1, 2, 3, 4, war, and then whenever you tie, you'd have to like lay down 3 blind ones and flip the other one over. I used to love playing War with my cousins.
Yeah, War was the jam. Did you ever play Egyptian Rat Slap or Egyptian
Yeah, where you just basically smack the other person or whatever.
Well, you don't smack him. It's like
but it's like
you go 1, 2, 3, flip, and if it's the same card, you slap it.
Yeah, you try to cover. You cover
or if
it
it's
or whatever.
yeah, and then if
I remember it was like Egyptian slap. Like there was some like
there's another name for it. Yeah, there is another name for it. I can't think of what it was. Yeah, but Egyptian something slap. And I always called it Egyptian Rat Slap, but some people did call it something else. But like Egyptian Rummy Slap or like some weird thing.
I used to fuck with Rummy. Rummy was my game. Rummy was my game.
Was pretty cool.
But not Rummy Cube.
Not Rummy Cube. We did play that.
And we can ask Chelsea, Catherine, and Jay that I have no idea. I literally had 2 wild cards.
And he called them...
You called them wild guys.
No, I thought... Did I call them wild? Oh, yeah.
You're like, hey, what do you do with the...
with the wild
guys? And Jay fucking lost it. He was like,
oh my the Jokers. God. He's like, you mean the Jokers?
The wild guys. That's what I'm calling it now. And now... Whenever like he shaved his face except for his mustache, and I'd be like, Jay went wild guy and then started to shave his mustache or something.
He went full wild guy.
Wild guy. Couple of wild guys
over here.
I basically had a hand that the first time I played it, I could have went out. And I had no idea I had it. I just kept collecting. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
You had a really good hand. And then he had 2 wild guys.
And then finally when I showed it to both Catherine and Chelsea, Jay was like, no, don't play it for him. Don't finish it. Don't finish it.
Because Jay was being like super competitive.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
He ended up flipping it, flipping the table.
So I go over to my parents' house. I'm looking at the Pokemon cards and I go... And I knew, okay, so back in the day, my uncle passed away when I was like 8 or something like that. So
your mom's brother, dad's brother.
So my dad's brother, my dad's youngest brother, and he had a collection of baseball cards. And a lot, like, I want to say like 5-6 years ago, maybe even longer, my dad was like, yo, if you ever want to go through those baseball cards and figure out what they're worth, like, I'll give you a cut or whatever. And I always like had it in the back of my head, like one of these days I'm going to go through those baseball cards. One of these days I'm going to go through those cards.
But who's motivated to do that?
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to make $18 by spending 9 hours sifting through shit.
Exactly. But right now, just from like watching Gary Vee and stuff, I know that like trading cards are up. So I was like, maybe, you know, like my Pokemon cards maybe aren't worth that much, but like maybe my uncle's baseball cards are. So I was like, hey dad, where are those baseball cards? And I thought they were in the garage, but they're actually in the attic. So we go up in the attic and we're looking.
Did you find yourself like a mint condition, like Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire rookie card or some shit?
So I'm not going to spoil it right away.
Maybe a Barry Bonds rookie card. God damn it. You better not.
Story.
Okay.
So I get these baseball cards down, and as my dad's up there looking, he's like, "Oh, you know what else I've got up here?" While we're at it, he was like, "I've got a collection of Beanie Babies, mint condition Beanie Babies that he had collected like back in the day."
I remember watching a Broad City episode where they were collecting Beanie Babies, and it was like this whole thing where like Abby didn't realize what she had, and Alana was freaking out, and she found like a Princess Diana, like a first edition Princess Diana, and she was like trying to sling it on the black market and like calling people on the phone and yelling at them in like Chinese and shit, and she was
that's so funny.
She was carrying around this little fanny pack, and then somehow like lost the fanny pack, and like this whole fucking episode. Dude, it was like
that's amazing.
It was one of the best episodes.
That's amazing. I need to watch that. I recently watched Broad City for the first time like a month ago.
That show's fucking funny. It's like the chick version of Workaholics.
Yeah,
it really is. And Workaholics is for anyone who's ever worked at an office or like lived in a house with a bunch of roommates.
Honestly, it's just great. But So my dad's like, yeah, I've got all these Beanie Babies. So I'm like, oh shit, while I'm at like trying to figure out what all these things are worth, I'm like, I might as well figure it out. And he's like, I tell you what, if you figure out what these are worth, we can split it 50-50.
I'd have been like, Dad,
so I was like,
I'm doing all the work. I'm taking 75.
Well, I mean, they were his and he stored them for 20 years. I mean,
I'm just talking shit.
Yeah. So anyways, and I had no idea. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll take them all home. So I literally had, my dad had 2 massive Tupperware bins,
like the Rubbermaid bins, like the
big Rubbermaid
like
bins,
the 70-gallon
a big ass one, 2 big ass ones, and 2 like smaller ones. They're like this tall. So like all in all, I filled up my whole car
like
with
100 pounds of Beanie Babies.
But, so my car was full of lighting equipment to go shoot the DJ set thing, and a green screen, 4 giant bins of Beanie Babies, other random shit that I was getting from my parents' house, and a box of baseball cards. Like the box of baseball cards is like this big. So it's like a lot of baseball cards.
That's a lot of baseball cards, yeah.
And they're all from like the 80s and 90s.
Dope.
I'm pretty sure. Like that's what like the writing on the outside says. So anyways, so I go like I don't even really look at them, and as I'm driving, I like on my car, I like asked the Google Assistant. I'm like, okay, Google. Oh shit, I probably just set off everyone's thing. What is the most valuable Beanie Baby? And I just looked it up, and they were like, the Valentino Beanie Baby is worth blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I like later on, I like casually searched. Like I found this article that was in like Cosmopolitan. And it had like the 10 most valuable Beanie Babies that you probably owned.
Right.
And like, it's like when you type in like, what is the most valuable Beanie Baby? Like here, I'll just type it in. What is the most valuable Beanie Baby? They will come up with this article because it's like from Cosmo. It's just whatever. It's like for some reason, it's like the 30 expensive collectible Beanie Babies will make you rich. So then later, I start looking. I come home the next day, and I actually came home that night, and I started sifting through the Beanie Babies a little bit, and I looked at this article. The 30 Beanie Babies you definitely own, but probably threw out that could make you rich. So I'm looking through. I'm like, okay, cool. My tags look like these. You know, the TY tag with the star on it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm scrolling through. Okay, we got Steg the store. It says he's worth $50,000 on eBay. Holy shit!
What the fuck?
First generation Beanie Baby. So
Why?
I'm scrolling.
Oh.
Then I got Rainbow the iguana. He's worth $49,999 on eBay. Need a down payment for a house. All you gotta do is sell one of these guys.
Like a perfect condition one.
We got Curly, perfect condition. Oh, and by the way, all of my Beanie Babies are in perfect condition. They've never been played with, and all the tags are in check. They've all got plastic placards on the tag, so all the tags are perfect condition. All this.
Yeah.
We've got a Curly the bear. He's worth $45,000. We got Twigs the giraffe. He's worth $45,000. And I bet these Pinchers.
I had one of those. The lobster one.
We got Pinchers the lobster, $35,000. We got Scoop the pelican, $100,000. I don't even know what this is. Sparky the dog. He's worth $60,000. We got Jolly the walrus. He's worth $75,000.
These are so boring and so lame.
Batty the bat. He's worth $125,000. You know, a panda. We got large Wallace. We got the princess bear that you were talking about, $665,000.
Yeah, the Princess Diana. Yeah.
You know, and it's in a glass case and all this stuff. We got the peace bear. He's worth $60,000. Bubbles. Hippity Hoppity and Floppity. If you got all three of them, it's worth $30,000. So I'm going through. I'm like, okay, keeping a mental note. Like if I see any of these, I'm gonna freak out. So I'm starting to go through, and I'm like, holy shit! I open it up. There's a Princess Diana bear in the plastic.
You're get the fuck out of here.
Dead ass. So I start freaking the fuck out. I'm like, I'm a fucking millionaire. What's up? Let's go. I'm like, this is about to be my full-time job selling Beanie Babies. I'm literally like starting to freak out. I'm like, my full-time job now is selling these fucking Beanie Babies. I'm lit. Like I'm so stoked. I immediately kind of started freaking out. Like I literally shaky. I literally go, no fucking way. Like, and I'm like, should I say anything to my roommates? Like I don't want them to come in and like steal one of my Beanie Babies or something.
Yeah,
like, I don't even know what they're worth. I haven't kept inventory. Like I haven't done anything.
It's like when you win the lottery, the first thing you do is tell absolutely fucking no one.
Exactly. That's how I felt.
And then you immediately go to the biggest city that's near you, and you walk into the biggest building and say, "Hi, I'm looking for this trusts and estates lawyer. I need to talk to him." And they'll be like, "Who?" And you'll be like, "I have a large lump of money. I need to talk to the trusts and estates lawyer." And they're gonna go, "Oh, 15." You know, and then you just literally go knock on the door and be like, "Hi, I've won the lottery. You're the first person I've ever talked to." And they're gonna go,
"That's a good idea."
Good idea.
Maybe I should have done that. No, but instead of telling the people on the podcast,
I have now sent out a beacon to all my thief friends, and they're currently breaking into your house right now.
Yep, exactly. And also, I'm quitting the Wheels Talking podcast. No,
damn, bro.
No, so basically, I'm just looking through this list. I'm looking through this list.
I expect new production quality.
Look at this Valentino. He's worth $100,000. Like, there's so many. Claude the crab. He's worth $75,000. Like, seaweed's worth fucking $30,000.
Is there like a series of like sequential serial numbers or something
Jake
that make
the
it
duck,
make it
16,000
worth more or something?
So I'll tell you the whole thing. So I'm going through, and I'm just gonna be honest. As I'm going through all my Beanie Babies, I have every single one of them on this list. And not only do I have every single one of them on this list, I have 5 or 6 of every one that's on this list.
Get the fuck out of here.
So I have
dude.
3 Princess Dianas.
No.
I have 5 of each of Flippity Floppity and Hoppity.
Fucking
I
awesome,
have,
bro.
Halo the Bear. I've got all this stuff. I've got blah 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 blah. Like I'm freaking out. I've got a bunch of Jake the Ducks. I've got 5 Seaweeds. I've got 5 Claude the Crabs.
That's so fucking
I've got
lit, bro.
6 Valentinos that are worth $100,000. So I'm freaking out. I'm freaking the fuck out as I'm going through. I'm like, I have so many of these. And I'm cross-looking at other articles. And I'm even looking at eBay. And I'm like, I'm looking at some of the sold things. And some of them are selling for like $20,000, $30,000. I'm like, holy shit. I'm freaking out. So
that's insane.
I start to like look deeper and look. Because I'm like, some of these on eBay are selling for like $1. There's like a Princess Diana that sold for like $5. Sold. And, but it says like took the highest offer, you know, like, so it's like, okay, maybe they like someone just like sent him a DM and was like, yo, I'll pay you 50 grand. Just shut up and like take, you know, instead of bidding, like, instead of doing the bidding.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through and I start to, you know, find more videos of these experts and people that appraise Beanie Babies and things like that. And basically
like the classifications or whatever.
Basically, it's all bullshit.
Damn it. Fuck, dude, you had us.
So as I'm literally like researching and looking and blah, 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 I'm like becoming like an expert on Beanie Babies. Like I'm trying to figure this all out. So basically these articles, so like
hole.
Cosmo, the like all they did to write this article was they went on eBay and looked at all the asking prices. Like currently there is a Princess Diana bear listed on eBay for $665,000.
But not
no
sold.
one will ever buy that Beanie Baby, but it is on eBay if you want to buy it for that much money.
Cheap article writing.
Very cheap. So I actually purchased for like $10 or something. I bought this like Beanie Baby price guide.
So does that mean if I like put this wheelchair on eBay and list it for like 200 grand and then
I'm going to write an article saying it's worth 200 grand.
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
Cool. Perfect.
So anyways, as I'm going through the research, and the other thing that really matters in this is the additions. So pretty much all of the additions that we have are the 4th and 5th generation Beanie Babies.
And only the 1st and 2nd really matter.
Exactly. And so the thing is like, for example...
Because after that, the 1st and 2nd generation, they probably had like 500 or like 1,000 released. And then with the 3rd and 4th and 5th, they did like 5 million.
And the thing is no one that was buying the 1st and 2nd generations were like buying them thinking, I'm going to save this one day and keep the tag on it and it'll be worth this much. No, they were buying it and giving it to their kid.
Or like playing
and their
with
kid
it.
like messed it up. Like, you know, all the hair's falling out of it and like it's worn down to like the, you know, the little...
The Toy Story story.
Exactly. So that's the reason why the 1st and 2nd generations and things are worth way more. So like, for example, like there's one that's like Chocolate the Moose. If you have a Chocolate the Moose that's a 1st generation in mint condition, it's going to be like $900. But I have a Chocolate the Moose, but it's a 4th generation or a 5th generation.
So it's
and it's got the wrong...
$9.
Okay, so at a certain point, Greenpeace came to Beanie Babies and they said, hey, you're using these PVC pellets in your Beanie Babies. They actually don't really... they're not biodegradable really. So when these Beanie Babies end up in a landfill someday after these kids have played with them, you're going to end up with all these microplastics that are bad for the environment.
Like fucking the environment, yeah.
So in like 98, 99, they switched over all their pellets to, instead of PVC pellets, now they're PE pellets. So any Beanie Baby that's made with PE pellets is guaranteed to be worth way less because the pellets themselves disintegrate slightly over time. So the Beanie Baby itself will slightly droop over time. And then not only that, you know it's not one of the 1st gen ones because it's not PVC pellets. And yeah. So basically, most of my Beanie Babies, so long story short...
You lost your shit and you're like...
I'm a millionaire.
now.
I had 3 Princess Dianas, bro. I was literally thinking, like, I'm like, that's like $1 million at least right there. So, like, I'm freaking out.
Losing your shit.
I had Valentinos. I had the freaking Scoop the Pelicans.
I'm glad you did your research and didn't just, like...
Quit my job and freak out
and fly to Hawaii or some shit.
Yeah,
like,
nah.
I'm fucking living at the top of a volcano now. I'm buying a volcano.
Like, I knew the first thing I had to do was take inventory of everything that I had. So I like went through and basically had to figure out, I made a spreadsheet and I basically had to like figure out what was what. And in that, I had to figure out like, okay, where was it made? So it'll say like made in China. It'll tell you what kind of pellets are in it. Based on where the little like R and TM and C logos are on the things.
It changes, yeah.
It changes like what generation tag you have and what font is on the tag will tell you what generation tag you have. So I went through all of my Beanie Babies. if I sell them all, and I, like I said, I went on this Beanie Baby collector like main website that looks like it's from the 90s, but they update it. Like these ladies that like run the website that are like Beanie Baby aficionados, they have a price guide that they put out every year that tells you what each Beanie Baby is worth. And I bought it for like $10. So I'm like, I might as well.
Like the PDF or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a PDF and it tells you what they're all worth. And I go through and it's like, if you have a first edition, it's worth this. If you have a second edition, it's worth this. Fourth gen, blah, 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 blah. And it's like
worth $5 million, worth 5 cents.
Exactly. And the thing is what they say on a lot of these websites is like, unfortunately, because of Cosmo and these other articles that have been written because of the Cosmo, like they won't even do their own research. They'll literally just go to the Cosmo article, take their info and write a new article based on that info.
Fuck.
So there's so many of these little Beanie Babies that like have just been plagued with rumors
that people think
they're worth so much money and they're not. And the thing is that I've also figured out, so remember when I went on eBay and I saw that some of them were actually selling for like 20,000. It's probably money laundering. And that's what they're saying is like, unfortunately, there's people that stand to make a lot of money by inflating the market, obviously, people that have large collections. And then there's also people that stand to make a lot of money by basically, like if I have this Beanie Baby that's like a Princess Diana or something, and I sell it to you for 20,000, quote unquote, but then
it's just
you
a way,
just pay me back in cash.
It's just a way to change hands.
It's a way to change hands and make like it look like there's large sums of money transferring when really it's basically like probably worth like $10.
And if like the IRS snoops into whatever, you're like, look, it's a collector's edition Beanie Baby that I bought, and then I sold it, and I sold it to a private collector for cash.
And the thing is some of the Princess Diana Beanie Babies are worth more because like there's like a certain time period where they did have PVC pellets in the Diana Baby. But like most of them are PE pellets. And some of them were like made in Indonesia because of like high demand, but most of them were made in China. So if you have an Indonesian one that has PVC pellets
even rarer.
With like, there's like inside of the tag, there was like a little poem. And if the poem has like a certain spacing in it, that means it was one of the first gen ones and then they fixed the spacing later. So like there's all these things that like, if you have one of these really rare ones, it's worth $500 or like something like that. But it's not worth like 100,000 or whatever.
500,000.
And the thing is, unfortunately, like, people think that if you find an error, like a lot of these ones have errors and stuff, like it's worth way more. But the people at the Beanie Baby company obviously didn't have a proofreader because they were making errors all the time. Like most of them have errors. Like,
well, if they're made in China, that's a common thing, especially in translation. Like specifically in China, if you are an English copywriter and you send the Chinese your English copywriting, they will do their best to translate it, but they're still Chinese. Like,
I mean, let's be honest though. If you're sending someone to print something on a tag, I don't think you're sending it to them in Chinese and then saying translate it and put it in English. You're sending them the English and you go copy and paste this onto the tag.
Well, then I guess some type of error was made. Yeah,
I don't think it was that type of error. It's normally, it wasn't those type of errors where like grammatically it didn't make sense. It was always errors like instead of it saying moose, it said R noose. Like R and then an N, so it looks like an M, but like somehow that happened and it looks, so like some of them say R noose instead of moose. And like at one point the bull was named Tabasco, but then they realized that was going to be obviously copyright infringement, so then they changed his name to Snort or something like that. So then like if you have one that's called Tabasco, it's worth more. But then inside the poem, they forgot to change it from Tabasco. So if you have one that says Snort and then in the poem it says Tabasco, it's like worth more because it was like a crossover, but like really it's probably not. And that was my whole thing was like the according to these experts, the Beanie Baby that's worth the most is like this chef one. It's like a little chef somebody, and he's worth like $6,000. Like that's like the most expensive one. And I don't have one of those.
Yeah, and $6,000 isn't $600,000.
No.
Did you even get a chance to dive into your baseball cards?
I haven't. so earlier when you were asking me all those things, I'm like, well, I can't tell you yet. But
yeah, I
haven't dove into those.
Like if you had if you have a Barry Bonds, a Mark McGwire, or a Sammy Sosa rookie card that's in good condition, that's a Topps card, that would be probably the most money because those are the or Babe Ruth. Like if you're
that's what I was gonna say. Is like Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and Barry Bonds are all from like not the common era, but like
they're the home run kings though. Like that in the world of baseball.
Yeah, but there was a lot of Barry Bonds rookie cards because at that point baseball cards had already become a thing. Like true. So if you have like a Mickey Mantle or like a Babe Ruth or something like that, like
different story. Yeah,
that's the same thing with Beanie Babies. Is like they weren't collectible until they were. Like baseball cards weren't collectible until they were. Like they were collectible. Like kids would collect them in their packs of gum and shit.
Yeah, which is crazy to think that it came next to gum. Yeah,
they weren't keeping them in mint condition like people do now and putting them in sleeves. And there wasn't a whole thing like that. So like maybe I'll come across something that's worth a shit ton of money. Probably there are some like pretty cool cards. Like just from the ones that were on top and stuff, we have some signed cards. Because that's another thing is like baseball cards can get signed.
Yeah.
Pokemon cards can get signed too by the artist that did the art that's on the thing, or like, you know, the main dude who invented Pokemon. If you have a Pokemon card signed by him, it's worth something. But anyways, you know what's funny? I was getting my haircut this morning and I was telling my hairstylist about it, my friend Angela, and I was like telling her the whole story that I kind of told you, and she's like, oh, she was like, I have a Pokemon card. And I was like, you have one Pokemon card? And she was like, yeah, it was my ex-boyfriend's. And I was like, really? And I was like, what is it? And she was like, yeah, I think it's like holographic. I'm like, oh, really? That's cool. I'm like, cool.
Is it Fire Guy?
No, so I go, and I'm like, what is it? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, is it Charizard? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, are you sure? I was like, it's a holographic Charizard? She's like, yeah. My ex-boyfriend actually like 2 years ago was like pestering me, like asking me about it, like really wanting it back for some reason. I told him I lost it. So I'm like, yo, if that's a first edition, and she's like, yeah, it's like in like a couple layers of plastic. And I'm like, if that's a first edition, like, I mean, obviously it's probably not a PSA 10, like, come on.
Probably between 50 and 80,000 though. That's
but
still
it's probably worth like a few thousand. And even if it's not mint condition, even if it's not a first edition, it's probably worth like $1,000 or something at least. I don't know. But I'm like, hey.
Why do girls be doing that? Jalila did that to her ex-boyfriend. She had a Nintendo DS that she definitely doesn't play anymore. And he was like, hey, can you send it back? And she's like, I lost it. But it's in her drawer. Like, it's literally in her drawer.
I think the reasons why. Here's, I think, the reasons why.
I just don't want to go through the whole process of shipping it back. I don't want to meet up with them.
Shipping it to him, meeting up with them, even having the talk. It's easier to just go, sorry, I lost it.
Sorry, lost it. Yeah.
It's just easier to just diffuse the whole situation. Like my friend, my roommate,
I don't have it anymore.
My roommate Xander, like he played football during college, and so he just got like tons of free clothing, sweats. Like, I mean, every game you're getting free shoes, you're getting free sweats, you're getting all kinds of stuff. And he's like, my ex-girlfriend like has all of my sweats. And like the other day I was like, dude, I should like hit her up. And I'm like, it's been too long since I've dated her. I can't be like, hey, remember 3 years ago when you stole all my sweats? Can I have them back? Like, it's just,
she's going to go, Goodwill has them. Bye.
Exactly. You know, it's like, what do you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's the hard thing. So anyways, I'm like, yo, I'll help you. We can figure out if it's worth anything. But anyways, so she might have something cool.
Yeah. The idea of items being valuable is so interesting to me, because I even think about money. Like, money is a piece of paper. Yeah. Like, it's a social agreement between two parties. And the same thing with like a piece of cardboard. Like, a Pokemon card is a piece of cardboard. Like,
literally.
Like, just the word value is so gray and so ambiguous, and like, what does it mean?
So I mean,
like, oh, if you get this package deal, that's a good value, or like, this information I'm giving you, this is a good value, or like, the value of this podcast, or production value. Like, that word value, like, what does that even fucking mean? And it's like, it's kind of like,
you have to be able to compare it to something, because without having it compared to something else, you can't say that it has value, or it's giving you value, or it's like, you have to compare. Like, it doesn't make sense in a vacuum. Like, this is a good value. If that was the only thing that existed, value doesn't mean anything.
Well, okay, I'll make an argument about like the Wheels to Walking channel. Like, the Wheels to Walking channel is very valuable, but compared to what? Other wheelchair YouTube videos?
Compared to the lack of information.
But that's what I'm saying, compared to the non-existence.
If there was already 500 channels that were giving out better information or the same information, our channel would not be of good value.
Correct. But the reason why it is of good value is because we're the only ones doing it the way we're doing it, how we're doing it, and why we're
packaging it in a certain way.
Yeah.
And the information isn't necessarily out there for, I mean, it is, but it's not packaged the same way.
And that type of information exists in a one-on-one setting inside of like a physical therapy situation or occupational therapy. Like, I would hope that, for example, like the how to transfer video gets shown to a lot of people, because occupational therapists know that it exists and they know to share it. I think the how to live longer video, that's a cool ass video that I think should be like the staple of you know, some of the basics that they teach you in hospitals and stuff like that. But they're already doing that, but more like on a one-on-one kind of way, or maybe through like paper and writings, or I don't know. I mean, the way I've come to learn what Wheels to Walking is peer support. And I didn't really realize that until someone told me, like, dude, I love that peer support you do. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of peer support, isn't it? Like, that's kind of, I literally never considered it that, but it really is the equivalent of me having one-on-ones with 100,000 people, you know, or so almost 10 million people now.
Yeah.
So, or at least 10 million
viewers.
Yeah. So whatever. Views. We'll call it half that. We'll call it 5 million because a lot of people watch these videos twice. But even just that, just value, just like, what does that even fucking mean? Like, it's an agreement. I feel the same way about the word fair. Like, does fair even exist? What is fair? Because fair to you is different than fair to me.
It's like where you go to this place and they have like corn on the cob and like cotton candy and like rides and like deep fried Oreos and stuff. Yeah, that's fair.
I would say funnel cakes are my favorite part of fair. Funnel cakes, dude. You know what I miss so much is going to like a baseball game or like a football game, and it's like cold out and it's chilly, and you get the smell of the funnel cake, and you're freezing. You're like shaking, you're freezing, and you get that
so hot
cake,
and it sits on your lap and it's warm,
and it warms.
And then you burn yourself on your lap because you don't have any feelings.
Yeah.
You're paraplegic.
Yes. Side note, y'all, don't put any popcorn or pizzas on your lap. You'll burn the shit out yourself.
Yeah.
Or bowls of oatmeal.
Yeah.
Or pretty much any reason. Just don't carry hot shit on your lap.
True. But dude, you know what's funny? Actually, in I think it was like in Cumming, which is hilarious.
That's a real city here.
It's a county, right? Or no, is it a city?
Forsyth County.
Yeah,
Cumming.
Cumming is a place in Georgia, not too far from where we are.
And they have merch that says I Heart Cumming. And on their water tower, it says, welcome to Cumming. And they have a mayor who's the mayor of Cumming.
And they have a park that's the city park of Cumming.
I think I might have told the story in the podcast before, but I remember when I first moved here, I met a girl and I asked her where she was from, and she goes, Cumming. And I'm like, wow, she is trying to get this dick, dude. I'm like, I have never heard, like, this woman is aggressive, dude. And she was like, I was working for this like network, like door-to-door cold call network marketing or whatever. And I remember she was a little bit older than me at the time. I was probably like 20. I was 20. I was maybe 18, 19. And she was probably like middle 30s and had like some fake boobs and like the red lipstick and like was wearing like a pantsuit. You know, she's like, Cumming. And I'm like, yo, this cougar want the dick, dude. Like, she's trying to get some dick. And I was like, oh yeah, where's that? She's like, oh, just up on exit 13. And I'm like, oh fuck, it's a real place? Shit.
And it's not even just spelled like Coming, like the word coming. It's spelled Cumming.
Like jizzing.
Like Cumming. And the funny thing is, I grew up here.
Cumming High School. Cumming High.
Literally, dude. Like, you didn't grow up here. I grew up here. So I didn't ever think twice about Cumming when I was a kid. Because I couldn't. No, but seriously, like, I didn't know what Cumming meant.
Was.
I feel like it wasn't even really in the like modern like colloquialism. Like, when did that become like a phrase? Has that been a thing for like a long time, or did I just like learn about it late?
I don't know. I feel like I remember talking about like jizzing and like squirting.
Yeah,
and,
I heard about jizz and semen and stuff like that, but I never heard about.
I remember doing the e-jack.
Yeah, shooting rope. Shooting rope is one of my favorite.
Welcome to the Wheels to Walking podcast.
The podcast where we shoot rope.
No, mine's more like lava. It's like a little bit of a volcano situation.
Mine's more like dribbling rope.
Just goes.
But anywho,
yeah. So you're here in Georgia.
So I'm here in Georgia. Like, I didn't know that was a alternate word. Like, I just thought it was a thing.
It didn't pass your mind. You didn't even think about it.
Anyways, the whole reason I even brought up Cumming was that they're having at the Cumming Fairgrounds, they had recently, like, they normally have like the Cumming Fair, like a fall festival kind of thing. But this year it was like a drive-in situation. So it was mainly just to get the food, like the fair food. People that were just craving like funnel cakes and things like that.
And Oreos and whatever.
And I almost went to it because they have island noodle is one of my favorite festival foods.
I remember one time you were
at Shaky Beats,
blasted, bro. You were so fucked up. I didn't know you. I found you asleep like on a hill next to one of the stages.
Oh, yeah.
And when I found you,
and I was wearing that button-down shirt that was like all open.
Yes.
Oh,
you were straight fucked up. But the second I found you, like pepped up and like
I was just asleep because I was just tired, but I also was fucked up.
And then you went to like get island noodles and like you were so stoked, and we like met some of your friends, and then we went to leave and we left like this back exit, and it was you, me, and Jalila, and you had just moved to your new house.
Oh yeah.
But you kept calling it the Dunwoody Airbnb. Cause you're like, yo, we got an Airbnb here downtown, and we're gonna go. It's close by. We can walk to the Airbnb. So we like leave the festival out of this like back gate. So we're not even. We don't even know where we are. And you're like trying to get an Uber and a cab, and like, but you keep forgetting because you're so fucking drunk. And then you're like eating your island noodles and like walking around and shit. And then Jalila and I look at each other and we're like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, what's the address? And you're like, this way. And we just started like walking in a certain direction. And I'm like, where the fuck are we going, Andrew? You're like, we're going to the Airbnb. And I'm like, where is it? And you're like, and you texted us your Spalding address. And I'm like, dude, that's your house. And you're like, yeah, dude, that's the Dunwoody Airbnb. And I'm like, you guys have an Airbnb in Dunwoody? Why would you do that? And you're like, no, we got the downtown, we got the Shaky Beats Airbnb. I'm like, we need to go to that one. He's like, no, but my car's at the Dunwoody Airbnb.
Oh my God.
You fucking idiot. Like we spent like an hour trying to figure out how to get there. So we get there, we shout.
Was that the night that I broke my ankle?
Basically, yeah. So you get in the shower.
Because was that a different night that I broke my ankle? I think it was the next day that I broke it.
Day. Well, anyhow.
Fuck.
No, I think it was that day when you were with us. You like slipped in a hole or something.
Yeah, because at one night though, I ended up getting home by myself because I rode a scooter home, and my leg was so messed up because I tried to ride the scooter.
And it was dead, and you pushed it.
Yes, was that the night that I was with you? That was the next night.
Oh
my gosh, my leg was on fire the next day.
So anyhow, we like put you in the shower, and that kind of like wakes you up, sort of. But I still have to like bring you a towel and like put you in bed. And Julie like, all right, bro, like we're gonna go. We'll see you later. Like we're hungry. And you go, the most classic Andrew thing. I've got some eggs. I can make you some eggs. And Jalila looks at me and goes, I don't want any fucking eggs. Let's get out of here. Like, let's go. And you're like laying in your bed in your underwear, eyes closed, going, I'll make you some eggs. You guys want some eggs? And for those of you that don't know, Andrew lives on eggs. He brought eggs here today. The dude drinks eggs. And especially when you're high, bro. When you smoke, you'll eat like 9 eggs in 1 second. You'll just drink them. Dude,
remember that one night?
You made a mountain.
I made a mountain of eggs and I ate it in like 9 seconds.
Imagine, your kitchen, you got the small plates and a big plate. Imagine the big plate and imagine a mountain of eggs. He sits down on the couch. No more than 2 minutes later, he's licking the plate. Fucking just licking the plate. And Peyton goes, oh my God, Andrew, did you just eat all those eggs? And Jalila's like, he just drank those fucking eggs. You didn't even chew. You were just like,
well, they're scrambled. I mean, you don't really have to chew them. You kind of just slurp them up.
Fucking you and your goddamn eggs, bro.
But dude, I do eat a shitload of eggs. Dude.
But honestly, that's a good thing because you and me, when we travel, if we ever find ourselves in a worst case scenario where we could live on eggs, like brekkie lunch and dinner, get some hot sauce, get some pepper.
100%.
Maybe
I love eggs, dude.
We could fucking live on eggs if we had to.
Yeah, I brought eggs here today. Last week after the podcast, I was like kind of hungry. I'm like, yo, you got any eggs?
Yeah, I did. I'm like, yes, I
was like, I need to bring my own eggs this time.
These brown eggs that I've been getting from Nellie's, the yolk are more yellow instead of orange, and I'm a little mad. I don't know if the chickens got stressed out or if something happened in the factory or the seasons or something. I don't know, but I was like a little butthurt because I like
the orange yolk. Yeah. The thing is, I personally love orange yolk. My thing recently has just been like, I'm just trying to save money and stuff. Like, I'm just like going to Aldi and getting whatever.
Yeah. So it's why I buy the $4 eggs when you could buy the 79-cent eggs.
47
cents. Damn,
dude,
bro.
47 cents for a dozen eggs at Aldi.
What's that?
You can get 3 dozen, or sorry. I'm stupid.
3 12-packs?
6 dozen eggs for $3. How insane is that?
That's a lot of eggs.
6 dozen eggs for $3, and it's not even like at Costco or anything. Speaking of Costco,
didn't you just get some fucking
I got a
bag?
giant bag of spinach.
If you motherfuckers listening right now, by the way, hello.
5 pounds of spinach. That's a lot of spinach.
Hello to all the new motherfuckers that came from the live stream, the Tuesday night live stream. What's up? Glad you're here. But y'all need to follow Andrew. And maybe if you've been blessed by the gods, you'll get to see his close friends list as well. Because the type of shit this boy puts on there. But anyway, you found a 5 pound bag of spinach. That's normally the size of your torso,
bro. Seriously,
that's huge,
dude. Okay, so normally with spinach, like at Costco,
I'm doing the same thing. My calluses, I'm picking on my calluses. I've been lifting heavy with a NOS recently.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
My
good.
friend Kristen saw you at the gym yesterday, and she was like, "Hey, are you at the gym?" And I was like, "No."
Kristen,
you met her at that book club thing that one time.
Oh God, yeah.
But she doesn't go to that. Anyways,
what at Crunch?
Yes. She saw you at Crunch, and she was like, "Yo, are you at the gym?" And I was like, "No, I'm not."
She's like, that wheelchair guy you hang out with is there.
No, she knew who you were. She's like, "Yo, I saw Richard here, but I just assumed you guys were like attached at the hip. Like I didn't know if you were there." And I was like, "Oh, are you? I didn't know you went to One Life." She's like, "Oh no, I'm at Crunch. Sorry, I just assumed that you weren't there." I was like, "Oh, he's been going with his friend."
Hey,
but anyways,
hey, Kristen, come say hi to me. Don't be weird.
Yeah, she was. That's what
Don't
she
be
said.
weird.
That's
Come
what
say
she
hi.
said.
We were talking about that on the episode, the Cripple Couch episode.
Yeah, She goes, I saw Richard, but I don't know if he knows me, so I'm not trying to be weird to interrupt a workout to be like, "Hey, do you fucking remember me?" And I was like, "Oh, that's funny. I didn't know you went to One Life." She goes, "Oh no, I'm at Crunch. I don't know why. I just assumed you'd be there because he'd be there. Like you do every part of life together, LMAO." And I was like, "Well, we both used to be members of Crunch," but then she's like, "Oh, well, that makes sense. Whatever."
Hey, Kristen, come say hi.
Hey, Kristen, come say hi.
Just say hello.
Me and Kristen have been playing Among Us recently together.
You gotta show me who she is on Instagram. So, cause
her name. I'll just show you. Later.
I'm notorious for like scoping chicks at the gym.
That's so funny. She was my first story.
Like,
it disappeared.
I am very taken and very happily taken, but it's just like nature. You know, it's just like instinctual. Like when you go into the gym and get all sweaty, it's like, oh yes, who else is here? Like we're in a jungle of people or something.
Yeah,
like that.
this is Kristen. You know her, right?
Yeah,
she's like friends with her mama and stuff.
I think.
Anyways, this is not good podcast combo.
She was there with her sister. I think she's like her sister. So she was there with a younger girl. I think. Hold on.
But anyways,
whatever. This is not.
Oh yeah. I remember. But anyways, not good podcast.
This is not
good radio talk.
This is not riveting. Yeah, the king of dead air.
What were we talking about a second ago before I mentioned?
I do recognize her.
What were we talking about 2 seconds before that? Before when you're saying you were lifting heavy and we were talking about calluses, but before that. Oh yeah, the 5 pound bag of spinach.
Yes.
So the 5 pound bag of spinach at Costco. Normally at Costco, you get like a little plastic container of spinach, like a hard container.
Yeah.
And I like the bags because naturally
bags.
But also because
God, I miss Chris.
I know, me
Fuck,
too.
I miss Chris.
Miss Crystal is so bad.
Oh, daddy, Jesus.
Anyways, the reason why I like the bags versus the plastic hard containers is as you eat more of the spinach, it takes up less space in your fridge.
Yes.
Versus,
makes sense.
and I have 4 roommates. Gotta save space in the fridge.
You even take, like when I'm downstairs fulfilling merch, your little fridge downstairs is even full of shit too.
I think it mainly has beer though.
I mean, but still, that's
still stuff.
Refrigerator real estate.
It is refrigerator real estate. And then we're about to add another roommate. Well, because we currently have 3 roommates, we're about to add a 4th. So we might have to explore our refrigeration options.
You might have to get yourself one of those middle class fancy garage.
We might have to go full white person, dude, and just get a fucking garage fridge.
Might have to get a freezer like your
dad. My parents have a garage fridge, and there's only 2 of them. Yeah, my dad, well, also the Dippin' Dots freezers in the garage. There's a bunch of freezers, but anyways, doesn't matter. Let me get back to the spinach. So I'm at Costco.
5 minutes later.
Seriously,
sorry guys.
Normally I buy my spinach at Aldi and I just buy like 4 little bags because then as I eat them I can like throw the bags away and then it stays fresh because like one bag hasn't even been opened.
How much do you eat / drink a day? Do you think how much by weight?
So the little bags of spinach at Aldi are like, I don't know how much they weigh, but I normally put half of the bag in my smoothie.
So half a pound maybe.
Maybe I don't even think it's a full pound.
Maybe 6 ounces.
I don't know.
Maybe
either
4,
way, I normally
whatever.
do like half. The way that I normally do it is I've got 4 bags that gives me like 8 servings, and I normally go to the grocery store like roughly every like 10 days or something. So it kind of just depends. But anyways, so like I bought this 5-pound bag of spinach, and it's so big, and I'm determined to eat it before it goes bad. So I've just been like mashing spinach in my smoothies. I've been eating salads.
Dude, I bet you've been having the best shits.
Dude, and I bought beets. So my shits have been red. I've been like red and green, dude. Like,
I remember the first time
they've been healthy shits, but goddamn.
I remember the first time I had a different color turd. It was because I was drinking too much grape soda, and it turned my shit green. I had like green poop, and I was freaking the fuck out because I thought I like had butthole cancer or something.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was all the dye. And then I remember when I had...
It's weird that it turns it green, though.
Yeah, I know
purple.
why. I don't know. And I remember I had beets one time, and I went to wipe, and I was like, that's a lot of blood. And then I realized it was just beet shit.
Exactly.
Nice.
That's a lot of blood. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
That's from Flex Tape.
Yeah.
Now that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. For those of you that haven't
Why
seen
do I-
the
sorry.
JonTron
Flex Seal, Flex Tape.
you gotta watch it.
Why do I always imagine that Big Ed from 90 Day Fiancé is also the Flex Tape guy?
Because they are. You know what I mean?
Dude, has anyone ever photoshopped that? I need to Photoshop Big Ed into the Flex Tape commercial and put a little hat on him.
Or like take the Flex Tape guy and put it on Big Ed's face.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm going to put Big Ed because Big Ed has an interesting body and neck situation.
Better luck next time.
The neck. It's like a long neck.
He leaves his neck at home, you know? Just to make sure, just a protective.
I normally, dude, recently, what did I say? I said something about my butt. Oh yeah, it was because I did that Instagram story with the little moving line.
Yes,
and it made my butt look giant or whatever.
Like it isn't already.
I do have a dump truck, but I said something. I was like, yeah, I had to get in. I was texting with my friend. And he's like, damn son, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, man. And he's like, my butt is something like that. And I was like, yeah, I actually had to get a new one recently. My old I can't talk. Had to get a new one recently because my old one had a crack in it.
Wait, what?
I had to get a new butt because my old one had a crack in it.
Oh, I went brain dead for a second. So
I told a joke, punchline, and then just nothing. I'm like, sick.
So when I was at the gym yesterday, I saw Catfish Butt again, and he was wearing another set of really nice leggings.
Oh, the dude. So for people listening, there was a dude that had on these leggings, and Richard and everyone was like, damn.
It's still the best ass in the gym. And I want to compliment him. Like, I literally want to be like, bro, you have the best ass, but I didn't, and this is why. I saw him, and he looked at me and smirked and smiled in such a way that made me believe he heard the episode. I don't know. Listen, maybe he's just being flirtatious. Gay dudes love wheelchairs. I don't know why, but he just kind of gave me this look. So dude with great ass at Crunch Chambly, if you were listening to this, just you don't have to come talk to me. Just give me a little peace sign. That's all I need from you to know.
Dude, should I talk about the foot smeller guy?
Just hit me with the peace sign.
Do you remember that? The foot smeller? I was talking to you and Jalila about that in the bathroom, about that guy that saw me at the gym and wanted to smell my feet.
What are you doing?
Do you remember this?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Was this in the sauna?
I'll tell the story on the podcast.
I don't remember the story.
So this is pretty amazing. So,
the guy who's been like messaging you, like who's not, like somehow got your number or some shit.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here, one second. What were we just talking about? Because I'm trying to do timestamps.
Spinach. Ass guy. Spinach and ass guy.
Okay, so I will pull up these messages. So a while ago, I was just doing my thing. I was working out a lot. I was working a ton at this like escape game place. But I was going to this one gym, and I get this message one day, and it says, this is on Saturday, September 16th, 2017. So this is, more than 3 years ago. The message says, may I smell your feet? I respond,
great opener.
Sure. Also, by the way, apparently me going, sure. That's like my catchphrase. Like my friend Lucy recently noticed that. She was like, anytime I offer anything, you're always like, sure. Like I'm always that guy that's
you're the equivalent.
I'll try something. I'll try everything once.
You're the equivalent of like, fair enough.
Yeah.
You're like, sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough is such a Northeast thing. Like if you're from
Jordan
New York,
Belfort, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's what he always says.
Well,
fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good way to like end an argument on like a positive note. Like my friend Katie and I we'd just be bickering about something, and her way of seceding while also standing her ground was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't her. She'd never say like, I lose. She never said I win, but she's like, okay,
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Agree to disagree. We'll part ways.
Hey, send feet pics.
So this guy goes, may I smell your feet? I go, sure. I thought it was one of my friends messing with me.
Just fucking with you, yeah.
They go, LOL, you're not serious. I'm for real. And then I don't respond. And then they go, pretty please? And I go, time and place. Because I think they're still messing with me.
You're still fucking with you, yeah.
And they go, are you for real? Would you let me smell your feet? I go, let's do this. And then they go, I thought it was like one of my friends, this girl that like always like messes with me. Whenever she gets a new number, she always messes with people. And she goes, or this person goes, so you wouldn't have a problem with a guy smelling your feet? And I just go, ha 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 ha. I'm so confused.
Like you're all nervous.
Like that Simpsons meme. I'm in danger. Like the little
yeah, Ralph or whatever his name is.
Yeah. So, and then they go, LOL, about what? And I go, confused as to why and who this is. And they go, this is the creepiest message. I have seen you work out. Think you are cool. My name is Josh, and I have a foot fetish.
At least they're open about it.
That was a beautiful haiku.
At least they're honest about it.
That was a beautiful haiku.
I've seen you work out.
I think you are cool. My name is Josh, and I have a foot fetish. It sounds like it should rhyme at the end. Like, my name is Josh, and I was wondering if you want to bool. Like, my name is, I'm looking for friends,
by the way,
I want to bool.
By the way, if you guys are not on the podcast discussion group, Andrew's been dropping glizzy memes like all week. So if you want to see some glizzy memes,
some glizzy gobblers, definitely go on the group.
That M&M's prank was good though. I think I'd seen it before.
That guy is funny on TikTok.
But I love how it went slow-mo. That was great.
Yes. So my name is Josh and I have a foot fetish. And I go, that's pretty creepy. And they go, so sorry, didn't mean to creep you out. By the way, I have this person saved in my contacts as foot smeller. They go, so sorry, didn't mean to creep you out. And I go, too late.
Too late.
And they go, I understand. You would know me if you saw me. I will leave you alone. Sorry again. You would know me if you saw me. Like they see me at the gym. Like you would know me. Like I go to the gym a lot. You would know me if you saw me. Weird, Josh. Very weird.
I had a weird situation like that recently where I went to introduce myself to someone. And he goes, you know who I am.
You know why I'm here.
And I'm like, and he like pulled down his glasses and very aggressively told me his name. And I was like, oh yeah, you're the guy that does that thing. I'm not going to drop names or anything. And I go, I haven't seen you post in a while. He's like, oh, I'm still posting. I just don't have you on there. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Nice to meet you. Bye. Like I was so confused.
Was it the gym?
No, it was I don't want to say where it was.
Okay.
But it was almost like he had beef with me, and I'm trying to figure out why he got beef with me.
Did he make you unfollow him?
Maybe. I don't.
Was it on Instagram that you were talking about?
Yeah. Like I did. Like and I looked, and his profile is not there. So I guess he did block me or something. But I was baffled.
Weird.
I was baffled because I was like, oh hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? And he's like, blah blah. I'm like, okay. He's like, you know who I am, and I'm like, okay. We're now weird because I just introduced myself because I don't think I know who you are. And he pulls down his glasses, show me his face. And I was like, oh, you're the guy that does that thing. I haven't seen you post in a while. And he's like, oh, I'm still posting. I just want you up there. And I think that's his way of saying, like, I blocked you.
Yeah, that's odd.
I try not to have beef with anyone for any reason. If if I do have beef, I would like to know.
If I do have beef with you, I'm going to kill you so then I don't have beef with anyone.
No, I would just like to know why. And if so, we're adults. Let's squash this shit. Let's end it. Like, why do we got to be dramatic about it?
That's super lame. People live in their own heads, though.
It's like, dude, another guy out. This is a gym guy who literally was like, yo, we need to follow each other and support each other on our journeys. And I'm like, all right, whatever, bet. And like, we followed each other and he goes, and if you unfollow me, I'll know.
The guy from the gym?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I was like, all right, that was a weird thing to say, but okay. You must be really fucking insecure to have a secondary app on your phone that like alerts you when people unfollow you. Well, whenever I'd see him at the gym, it was always pleasantries. Hey man, what's up? Hey, how's it going? How's your day? Blah, 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 this and that, yada, yada. What are you working on? Blah, blah, blah. It sounded like we were friends, but it wasn't like we were enemies.
By the way, this dude is annoying at the gym.
Oh yeah.
He stays there for like multiple hours and just talks to people and then sits on equipment that he's not using. It really annoys me.
And he's like that.
And then if you go up and ask him if he's using the equipment because you want to use it, he acts like it's a problem. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So fine.
So anyhow, through whatever unchains of events, I didn't know that you could like mute people and silence people. I thought you could only unfollow people, and I was sick of seeing when he was fucking posting because it was really obnoxious. And it had nothing to do with him. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll unfollow you. Bro, this guy acts like I murdered his wife. Like, he literally won't even make eye contact with me. Like, when I see him, I'll be like, hey, what's up, bro? He stares at the floor and doesn't even, like, acknowledge the fact that I said something to him. Like, could you imagine being that, like, petty and that, like, sensitive of a little bitch that you think an unfollow actually means something in real life? Bro, I unfollowed like 90% of my friends because, hey, guess what? My Instagram is a wheelchair Instagram now. I pretty much only follow like wheelchair people. Like all my regular homies, I don't even follow anymore. Not because we're not homies anymore. Like that's not how this fucking world works. Like, but unfortunately people think that. Like if I unfollowed you right now, even in our relationship right now, there are some people that be like, oh, why did you unfollow me? Are you breaking up with me? Like, didn't you unfollow someone and they literally hit you up and be like, why the unfollow?
AJ did. Remember?
Oh, yeah. He's like, why the unfollow, dog? And it's like,
no, it said, oh, no, you lost my follow or something like that. And we were both just like, that's so cringe, dude.
Imagine being so.
And even if that person is listening to this podcast, I want you to know that's cringe, bro. That is very cringe that you would do that. Just saying. And also, have a little self-awareness. You post a lot. Sometimes people don't want to see all that. So, cringe.
This sounds personal. It's become personal.
It has, because if he's watching, I want him to know. It's not, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, there's a reason why someone might unfollow you. Like, the thing is, I think some people think, like, I had this recently where, like, I followed this girl.
I unfollow people all the time.
I followed this girl. Oh, yeah, this is pretty funny. Followed this girl. This is two separate stories, but I'll tell them quickly. Followed this girl. Thought she was really attractive. She followed me back. And I'm like, oh, shit. I never really posted on my grid that much. Like, I should, like, post on my story to, like, be funny or something like that. So she, like, notices me or whatever.
Oh, the single life.
I know, right? But
painful.
But the thing is like, the stories that when you're, like, forcing it, where you're trying to come up with something funny, are not going to be funny. Then they're not going to be more funny than the ones where you're just, like, organically, like, in the moment, like, oh, this is really funny. I should put this on my story.
My Instagram story frequency correlates almost exactly to my level of singleness. like I remember the whole point of my Instagram story.
So you're posting a decent bit though. So
I'm posting like none. I don't post at all.
But you do post on your story. So you're saying that you have some level of non-singleness.
I'm gonna punch you in your face. I'm not married. How about that?
I'm trying to get with you, bro.
How about that? I'm not married. I wouldn't be surprised, homo. Dead ass.
Continue.
Dead ass. Okay, so anyway, I would always do it because I wanted the girls that I was following or unfollowing or looking at their stories to see like how cool of a life I had, or how interesting of a life I'd be like, yo, I do all these things and I've made all these accomplishments and I go to this park and I ride on this scooter and I go to this restaurant and like, I mean, we know,
don't say it.
Who be simping on some girl sometimes, but he always be posting on his stories like up to stuff, and it's like I did the same thing, And then it was always like for the one person to see it. You're like, man, I hope that one chick I've been DMing for the past 3 weeks sees it.
I never really look through who looks at my stories, but until there is one person that you're hoping sees it,
then you start
looking. You do scroll,
then you start looking.
and then you start to cringe because then I'm like, oh, this person still follows me. I unfollowed them like 3 years ago, and they're watching my stuff like every day. I'm like, I don't know if I really want them to see this stuff, but whatever.
I recently, I tell you what, I had that opposite experience. So I normally, after it reached like more than 500 people watching my stories, I'm like,
that's when you.
I'm not gonna keep up.
You don't know.
I'm not gonna keep up. And so now, like most stories are anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500, and if it's a really good story, it'll go over 2,000, which I think is decent numbers. It's about 10% of my total following. But I recently, the other day, like went to scroll and look through. There's a shit ton of dope ass motherfuckers, like homies in there that I didn't know watch my stories. People I didn't even know followed me. That I'm like, I got a lot of blue. I got a lot of blue check marks in there. What's up? Like I had no idea, and that makes me happy to know because you never know who's watching you. You know what I mean? You never know who's paying attention to you, and that's something that like it kind of also gives you permission to like hop into their DMs. Because you know that they're watching your stuff all the time.
Dude, I just thought of something so funny. He said, you never know who's watching. Because that kind of gives you the permission to hop into their DMs. And I was about to be like, here, I'm just going to do a quick role play. If I'm like your youth pastor and I go, well, you know who's always watching? And he's always ready for you to hop into his DMs.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Are you witnessing to me right now?
That was both you. Dude, that was so funny.
That would be a Sunday night youth pastor sermon.
Yes, dude. They're like, so you know sometimes when you look at your Instagram story and you're like, oh man, I had no idea this person was watching my story. Well, you know who's always watching your story?
Lord Jesus Christ.
Lord Jesus Christ. And he's always ready for you to hop in his DMs.
And you can get that through prayer.
And even if you don't have anyone in your follow list that has a blue check mark,
and read it,
the good Lord has a red check mark on his wrist.
Because he died for your sins.
Because when he died for your sins. Oh my God!
Youth pastor memes, bro. Dude, is there?
That was funny.
If anyone knows of a youth pastor,
oh my God,
dude! If there's a youth pastor meme page, can someone please send it to me? Can someone please send me the youth pastors are copy paste?
No,
bro.
there's the youth pastor hype page. Have you seen that one? Is that where it shows like all the sneakers?
No, that's preacher sneakers. But
preacher sneakers.
That's not always youth pastors. That's like
that's like preacher preachers.
The mega church preachers.
No, I do know. I have seen some TikTokers that do parodies of youth pastors. It's pretty funny.
God, dude.
I
remember I actually liked my youth pastor because he wasn't like that at all. He was very much like me. He's like, the way that you win the game is by knowing the rules. And the way that you can do what you want is by learning the rules. He's like, so you learn the rules so you can continue to almost break them. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. You want to get as close to sinning as possible without sinning? He's like, basically. Like, it wasn't that obvious. It wasn't that direct, but I remember very much having a lot of freedom to do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted, however we wanted. And I remember a lot of times he would like gather us group and be like, okay, when the adults ask us what we did today, we did not do this thing. We did something else. And be like, okay, bet. You know, because we would go get this. I mean, it wasn't anything like bad. It would be like, you know, TP someone's house or whatever.
Yeah.
We said we're going to the movies, but what we're really doing is pranking, what
we're really doing is copious amounts of drugs. Dude, I really liked my youth pastor until recently. He stole $500,000 from my family.
Was it that much?
I'm not gonna go into it.
But, God, it's a large unaccounted for amount of money.
I don't even want to say it. I just had to say that joke out loud.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Anyways, fucking rotten hell, piece of shit. But anyways, the other thing that we were talking about before that was people hopping in the DMs and stuff.
Yes. And like why you do stories to get attention to other people.
So I had this other girl that she came up on my TikTok actually.
You followed her.
She came up on my TikTok. No, this is a different situation.
Different girl.
But this is a different situation. So this girl came up on my TikTok. I was like, this girl's pretty cute. So on their profile, you can like link to your Instagram. So I click her Instagram and she follows like a bunch of my friends. I'm like, and TikTok is pretty location based if you don't know that. Like, so it does show you people that are in your area.
Is lit, dude. TikTok algorithm. Wow. Can't even talk. TikTok algorithm is lit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that advanced of an algorithm to just show you people in your area. I mean, it's just like they know your location.
No, I know. I'm just saying like that's...
Yeah. So anyways...
it's very precise is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So it showed me this girl. I followed her for a few days. Or I followed for a while. And then like the move I feel like is to slide in the DMs with like replying to a story.
Always. Never go in raw.
Don't just go in raw.
Never go in raw.
You got to go in with a little bit of lube. And the story is that little bit of lube. So she posted some story. I commented on it, and she didn't reply. And it was like a few days.
Did you unsend?
No, I didn't unsend. That's cringe.
If they see it, you cannot unsend. If they don't see it, you can probably unsend.
But if they don't follow you, you're not in the general or primary inbox. You're in the request inbox, and you can look at anything in the inbox of requests, and it doesn't say seen or not seen.
That's true. That's true.
So that she could have seen it, and you would never know until she follows me.
And never accepted it or whatever.
Which, by the way, Instagram changed their inbox.
I didn't update it. Have you updated it?
Yeah, just because I knew it was inevitable.
Do you like it?
It's cool. I haven't really noticed anything different yet.
Okay.
Except for like the colors. But anyways.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it'll make things
better.
I'm
old. I don't like change.
So, anyways, I didn't get a response from her for like a week maybe. And then I like looked through her profile or whatever. And I was like, nah, whatever. I'm just going to unfollow her. Because I was going through my list and unfollowing again. Because I'd followed like too many people again.
I remember you were trying to keep it under 1,000.
Yeah, now I can't do it. Now I'm at like, I was trying to get it to 1111. I don't know why. But anyways,
you're so ridiculous with like the smallest things.
But it's mainly because if I don't set that, I'm just going to like go, like I've got to try to make a threshold or else I'm just going to follow a ton of people.
I think as long as your following is not larger than your followers.
No, I don't care about that. It's just like I genuinely just like want to trim down my feed. Like I don't want to see people that I don't want to see. So like I want to make sure and vet like I did follow this person. But do I still want to continue to follow this person? Because they're taking up brain space.
I just mute them or like just turn them off.
Yeah.
I'll keep the follow.
Yeah, but you're only following like 400 people now or something.
No, it's like 1,100, 1,200 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Whatever.
But also, I don't want to hurt any Wheelie Boys' feelings. I know that might sound silly, but like Wheels to Walking is a brand, and it's braggable. Like you could go to your basketball team, your homies, and be like, "Dude, Wheels to Walking follows me." You'd be like,
yeah, maybe.
Like, no, prove it, and then you like show them, and it's not there anymore. They'll be like, "Oh, you fucking loser." You're
yeah,
like,
that's true.
I'm just gonna let it be.
The thing about it for me is if I find them like a genuine person that I like them or whatever, if they're following me, I typically like don't unfollow them because I'm like,
it's like a mutual respect.
Yeah, it's like mutual. Like, okay, you're seeing my stuff. I'll still look at your stuff. Anyways, point being. I ended up unfollowing this girl. So like I followed her, she didn't follow me back, and I messaged her, and she didn't message me back. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm just gonna unfollow, cut my losses, and move on with my life. So then, like 2 days ago, she responds to my DM, and I no longer follow her now, and her page is private.
Oh shit! Congratulations, you
played
I'm
like,
yourself.
I played myself. She didn't. And it wasn't like I was sending her anything like, "Yo, you look really good in that shirt" or something. It was literally like something about like voting or some shit, or like some random thing,
some nonsense. Yeah.
It was something about like repealing gay marriage, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking stupid because like something.
Yeah, something about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm sure.
It wasn't that. It was like basically the reasoning for like trying to repeal gay marriage was like that. A traditional marriage provides this, and this. And it's like, you would also get that in a gay marriage too. Like it's testing your patience and like shit like that. It's like any relationship is going to test your patience, bro. But anyways, so what do I do? Do I follow her back now that I'm on? Cause now I don't even follow her.
This is what you do. And I've done this before.
Just ignore it.
No. You gotta wait until she posts something.
But I don't know if she's going to post anything because I don't follow her and she's private.
Fuck. I was going to say, because then she'll get a bunch of notifications, and if you just hit him with that follow, during a lot of it'll get lost. But also, just request again, and if she was like, LOL, I thought you were following me. Be like, oh, I accidentally hit the button. You know, just like make some shit up. Like it doesn't matter. Like it literally,
also,
it literally
it's
doesn't
the
matter.
Smallest thing, but it's just funny.
Single life fucking blows, dude. God.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Imagine trying to, like, ugh. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you.
It's okay.
Single. I mean, relationship life isn't perfect either, but like, I feel bad for all you single people out there, especially during the Rona, that are trying to like, even just text people. Like, Jesus.
I didn't know you were gonna go that are even trying to text. I was
I don't
like,
know.
get your dick wet or something. I'm like, okay. No.
Well, I mean, yeah. Think about that. Like,
yeah. How do you
like even I'm already kind of like paranoid about, you know, like STDs and flu and germs and stuff. Like I don't even like sharing drinks with people.
STD and flu?
No.
Like you're gonna catch them the same way.
No, I'm just saying like
it's STD season. Be careful out there.
Like the
Get
whole
your STD shot.
No, even the whole like the random hookup thing, like
season.
like kissing at a bar or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's almost out the window. You know, also like physical touch, like, you know, holding hands or like bumping shoulders.
Here's the thing.
Or like laughing.
You
or whatever.
think that kissing in bars is out of the question, but have you been to any bars recently?
They're lit. They're hype. They're back on basically.
Yeah. There's no mask in it, dude.
There's some.
That's what I'm saying, bro. The people that are doing that shit are still doing that shit. You think the Rona's gonna get them down? No, bro.
I get it.
The people that were gonna get STDs are gonna keep getting STDs. The people that were gonna get fucking mono and herpes and shit are still gonna get mono and herpes, bro.
I got a neighbor that never stopped. In the middle of lockdown, in and out, just the door, just slamming, in and out, in and out. I'd take out the trash or something.
Hey, are you a burger place in California? Because you're in and out.
Yeah, and then
stop being that.
He would be like all dressed up in his shit, and I'm like, we're in the middle of a fucking lockdown. Where are you going?
That's the thing. It's
like a house party or something. What the
it
fuck
is
where
funny
are you
how
going?
there are some people that are still in like straight quarantine, and it's like. I've seen some tweets that are like, did I hallucinate this pandemic or are you just like being really irresponsible? Like, it's kind of funny.
Well, that's a big problem right now is pandemic fatigue. And I'll be honest, I'm getting it too. I mean, I'm still keeping a small inner circle. I mean, even before pandemic, like I wasn't really fucking with many people.
Yeah.
Like I still hang out with like a total of less than 10 people, even via associates. Like, you know, Anas has a few friends that I hang out with, but like I don't have their phone numbers. You know what I mean? Like it's just friends of friends kind of thing. And I mean, I keep my shit small, but I mean,
we know.
If you look at,
I'm just kidding.
If you look at Florida, it's back on. Like everything's back on.
Dude, it's not even Florida. It's Georgia too.
It's weird.
Bro, bucket bars are lit. But fucking clubs are lit.
But you're right. There is still a group of people that are like, well, I'm only going out to go to the grocery store, and I'm still doing remote work and carry your hand sanitizer with you and wear your masks with you. And it's like, either you're extremely like locked in, locked down, or you're the complete opposite. Like you're no masking it. But
let's be honest, it's like, oh yeah, I'm keeping a tight circle, but like we're also going to the gym with no mask.
No, I agree. I'm not saying in any terms
I know,
that
but
I'm doing perfect or doing a good job.
I know, but the thing is that's the thing is like people want to shame people for like not doing it perfect, and that's the funny thing. It's like I feel like celebrities get the funniest end of that deal.
Celebrities get the
it's like
fucked
if
the
you
most.
are seen anywhere, people are gonna drag you. Like if you're seen doing anything, and the funny thing is like most people are kind of doing things like, you know. There's events that are happening. Like obviously there's different things. Like the Halloween thing that I'm going to, it's a socially distanced event. So meaning you have to buy a section at the event and only the 5 people that you bought tickets for can be in that section. And if you
Jeez, Andrew, thanks for inviting me.
You had to buy the drink. I know.
Just kidding.
No, but
we're trying to get to a haunted house. We got to find an accessible haunted house. That'll be fun.
Yeah. But you have to buy drinks ahead of time so that they like can bring them to your section and stuff like that. Like there's just way less.
Is it a show?
Yeah, it's a show.
Okay.
It's a house music thing. At this I don't even remember what the location is, but I think it's like kind of like a warehouse situation. But like each area will be like fenced in. Like you will like when you get there
roped off. Like everyone gets their own VIP.
Exactly. Like when you get there, you are escorted to your section and you have to stay in your section. They're like encouraging everyone to like, you know, like go to the bathroom before and stuff.
I wonder how well they're gonna enforce it. I wonder if you're gonna be able to migrate from like hole to hole.
No, I don't think so.
Be like people in 39 are trading with groups in 52.
Well, that's what happened with some of these drive-in shows. Like people will just bum rush the front.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I mean,
But they have to be strict about it because they're like, guys, if you don't obey the rules, like we won't be allowed to keep having these.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And this is all we have right now. But
that's also kind of strange.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I
tell you what though, our governor, every time he made a decision, got fucking dragged. But I tell you what, I ain't mad at it.
I ain't mad at it either.
Because like I see some other states that are on like insane restrictions and lockdowns, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
what do you think? What state do you think is the worst?
I mean, I don't really pay that close attention, but from what I've been reading about what's been going on, is like Michigan's pretty crazy right now. That's the place that the governor, that like the people were trying to kidnap because she's keeping like super enforced lockdowns. Virginia is also like that too.
Huh.
Where even all their government, like in Virginia, you can't even buy or sell a car right now because the DMV is closed until January 2021. Like there's a lot of really interesting like stuff happening, and like I don't know. I believe in masks, but I also still
I don't believe in them. They don't exist.
But I still believe in personal autonomy and personal freedom, and I also believe in like managed risk.
Totally.
Like
there's always a risk of getting sick anyway.
Well, there's a risk of driving. You do.
Totally.
There's a risk of eating food. Life is risk, and it's all about managing risk. And unfortunately, this is just our new normal now. This is normal now. Like COVID is a thing. It's here. Even with a vaccine, I think there's going to be a compliance issue where not a lot of people are going to comply.
Also,
and it's just going to be around. So what I'm going to do is when I leave my house, I'm going to put on a mask until I get outside. Once I'm outside, I'm taking that fucking mask off. And then when I'm driving, I'm not wearing that goddamn mask. And if I show up to a place where masks are required, guess what? I'm going to put on my mask until I see that it doesn't matter anymore. Like my way into the gym. I want to be respectful. People coming in and out of the gym. I want to do the scan, my card. I don't want to, fucking breathe on those people or whatever. And then I get to my locker and I pop off my mask. Okay. I do my workout. Some people still leave it on. That's their choice. They can do what they want to do. But for me, it's about managing risk. And I still want to live my life. I still want to be able to, within the rules, within the guidelines, within the boundaries, like, hey, guess what? Like, we can travel now. Cool. I'm going to go on a plane. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to comply. I'm going to do the COVID tests, to make sure I'm good. I'm going to fucking wash my hands. Like, I think you have to figure out, like, and I felt the same way, like, when we were closing down. Like, I didn't leave for like 90 days. Like, I stayed here. Like, I went to the grocery store. I came back. I wiped all my shit down. But, like, I'm slowly inching my way back into the world. I'm inching my way back into the reality. I'm still managing my risk. And I was actually talking to a wheelie girl the other day, and she was saying how she's still locked in. Still locked in. She lives in a state where it's, like, really bad right now. And, her complex she lives in isn't super accessible. And she's afraid of her neighbors. And I feel bad for her. Like, that hurts my heart to be like,
for sure,
double stuck, double locked in. And I hate the whole, like, don't live in fear. It's not that scary.
She's
bullshit.
afraid of her neighbors because of the virus, or she's like legitimately afraid of her neighbors?
Virus, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if her neighbors were like scary.
No. It's just like her
neighbors are drug dealers.
No,
I'm afraid of them.
They're doing, like parties and shit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I still very much believe in like personal freedom and personal autonomy, but also manage risk and like, don't go to the fucking club, okay, but going to the grocery store is fine. Going to the gym's fine. Like if you're going to go, there's a big path around town, the Beltline. Like you can still go there, but just stay away from people. Don't be in their fucking business. Don't, cough in their face.
Yeah.
And like, again, I wear my mask where I should, but whenever I get the opportunity to not wear it, because I realize it's not, the outside isn't dangerous. It's other people that are dangerous, but it's only if those people are being irresponsible. And I know those people. I know those people that have been just like nonstop traveling all over the place, no mask, meeting up strangers, drinking, partying, hugging, kissing, whatever. And it's like, I'm just not gonna hang out with you. Like, I'm sorry. Like you've been irresponsible. And maybe some people would say the same thing about me. Maybe they'd say the same thing about the podcast, or not the podcast, but the main channel about us. But
actually, we traveled a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like the only way to win the game is know the rules, and I feel like I'm everyone was talking mad shit on the governor. Even me a little bit. Like sometimes he was doing some stuff that was really fucking stupid. But for the most part, I'm like, you know what? Now that we're here, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still, pretty much nothing to fucking do, but
yeah.
I feel like there's tiers. There's like, complete lockdown is 0. There's tier 1. There's tier 2. There's tier 3.
I feel like my life right now currently is back to 95%.
It's basically the same, just
the only thing I can't
with less stuff to do.
But what stuff are you wanting to do?
I don't know. Events, art shows, gatherings, restaurants.
Restaurants are 100%, dude.
I know, but I mean like the full restaurant experience, not this modified restaurant experience.
That's true.
I don't know. There's free travel. Like I want to do international travel, and some places you can actually do it now. You can go international as long as you get COVID tested 24 hours before.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it's like before COVID, you hadn't done that, so it's like.
No, I agree.
I'm just saying, like as before, like.
Well, here's an example.
It's easy. It's like, oh, now that I'm paralyzed, I'm never gonna be able to fucking hike Mount Everest. I was gonna do that, and it's like, well, you were never gonna fucking do that. Like,
place. No, I agree. But I feel like different states have it really bad. I think Cali's pretty bad right now. It's so bad people are moving out. They're leaving Cali. Yeah. They're leaving Cali. Also, I've heard Venice has turned into a bit of a shit show. Where it's like the hobo paradise now.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 3 days in Venice a couple weeks ago.
Was it only a couple weeks ago? Jesus, that's crazy. 4 or 5 weeks maybe.
Yeah, when did we go? Was it September?
Yeah, middle of September.
That was middle of September. It was September 11th. Yeah, I flew out on September 11th. So it's been over a month. It's been like a month and 2 weeks. But basically, yes, there definitely is a lot more homeless people, but like not that much more than normal. Like Venice always has homeless people.
And also there's a lot of people that have a lot of unfounded fears around homelessness. And here's the other thing. No, they're violent beggars that do drugs and they're going to attack you. It's like, no, they just want
to chill.
They're people that are down in life, they're just down on their luck. It's like not a good.
I would actually say Venice is not that closed down. Like gyms are still closed, but restaurants you can go
like all the stuff on Abercrombie.
Yeah, like you just have to wear a mask. Like I went into like a weed store. I just had to wear a mask the whole time. They like checked. Well, that was because it was a weed store. They check your ID.
Yeah.
But like I did like tons of stuff. Like we had like that silent disco on the beach. Like that was fucking awesome. Like that was the closest thing to a concert I've been to in months.
But some might argue that is irresponsible.
It's outside. I mean, it's irresponsible for sure, but like
close quarters.
Irresponsible as compared to what? Like irresponsible as drinking out of the same bottle at a club? Maybe not. Maybe
no, I agree.
Irresponsible
it's all relative.
Staying home and not doing anything. Of course.
It's all relative. I get it.
But yeah. I mean, but I would say Venice is like I think a lot of California is pretty bad, but like it's like bad as what? Like bad as like deaths, bad as COVID cases, bad as they just haven't opened anything up, so it still seems bad. Because it's like, oh, it's really bad. Nothing's open. It's like, is that just because nothing's open because they haven't allowed anything to be open, or is it bad because people are fucking dying in the streets because they got COVID?
When I say bad, I mean restrictions.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
But that's
bad.
the thing. It's like, why? Because that's the thing about Venice right now. Is like I felt like when I was there, I didn't feel like there was anything bad happening really. Like I didn't feel like there was a pandemic. People were walking around. People were doing their thing. I mean, there was masks, but like we passed by these restaurants. The restaurants had a lot of people in them. Like it didn't seem like anything was so dire, you know what I mean? Like, but obviously the virus, I'm not a virus denier. I don't deny that the coronavirus is real, but like,
well, I also
at the end of the day, it's like
there's a lot of governors that are trying to flex.
We have to do mitigated risk.
They're trying to flex on their constituents. They're trying to stand their ground, you know?
Well, unfortunately it's been politicized, and it's like anything that's like super anti-virus has been associated with Trump, and anything that's like anything that's like, whatever. Basically like the left wing, governors and stuff are going to want to like keep everything locked down to oppose what Trump is saying. And then if whatever happens in the election, it's like if Biden wins, they're going to like open everything up and be like, oh, wow, look, everything's amazing now. Look, everything's open. Wow. And no, there's no cases. Look, we have no new cases and everything's open. This is amazing. Look, the virus response team under Biden is so much better.
Yeah, it's
and
bullshit.
It's like nothing really fucking changed. And unfortunately, what's done is done. There's 200,000 Americans dead. Whoever you want to blame that or not, that's up to you. But
we just broke our rule in the last.
Yeah, we did
in the last 3 minutes. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, it's fine.
What was our code word?
Like I said, COVID's gotten politicized. It fucking sucks.
Yeah. I
wear a fucking mask and go vote.
Yeah, go fucking vote. But I think it's all of life.
America.
All of life is about managed risk. You know, I saw this cool little. It wasn't really a meme. It was more like a picture. And it was a picture of a lion in a cage. And it says, this lion has guaranteed health care, guaranteed food, guaranteed safety. And then it showed a lion in a field. And it says, this lion has to guarantee his health care for himself. He has to guarantee his food. He has to guarantee his safety. And it's like, what one would you rather be? And I remember looking at that and kind of rolling my eyes because I'm like, ugh, false equivalency. But then I thought about it more. And I'm like, although that is a very weird analogy, I'll say it's not completely obvious, but I liked it because you're right. It felt right because it's like lion in a cage has guaranteed. He is guaranteed to have medicine. He's guaranteed to have food. He's guaranteed to be safe. But what quality of life does he have? What freedoms does he have? Then you see the lion in a field.
Yeah,
he could die at any second. He could be attacked. He could starve. Someone could shoot him. You know, there's so many things that go wrong. But he has his personal autonomy.
His quality of life is probably way higher than a lion in a cage.
And that's what I like a lot. Just as a disabled person and just Richard, period. Autonomy, which basically just means self-governance, is very important to me. And I don't like people telling me what to do. I'll listen to logic and reason and science, but for the most part, don't fucking tell me what to do. Like, that is not your role. Whoever is telling me what to do. I'm not a big fan of it. But it's like you said, it's all managed risk. I mean, life is risk. Life is taking risks. And every action you do and every decision you make puts you in a position for bad things to happen to you, period. So you manage it. You do your best. When you're driving, wear a fucking seatbelt. You know what I mean? You do things to reduce the potential for death. But enough on that.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Follow us on Places, the new app that we created for you to follow us on.
Places.app. Places.app. I think that's a URL.
I feel like...
We're just kidding. Follow us everywhere.
Yeah, follow us everywhere. Follow us on Places. Just not on Facebook. Facebook's lame.
You can follow me on Facebook. I still lurk there.
I'm on Facebook for the groups. That's it. Bye.